2021. The first item on the agenda is the approval. I'm sorry, I got to back up. I've got to take roll call first before we do that. I'm sorry. Mayor Rosworski, I'm here. Mayor Dennis.
Yeah, I'm here.
Kevin Underwood.
I'm here.
Let's see, Dave Byers, or who's Tracy? Is it you today?
Yes, sir. I'm here for Commissioner Byers.
Okay, thank you. Jackson Bogan.
Here.
Okay. Melissa Weiss Williamson or Ron Campbell as a proxy. Neither one. Okay. Peter Bunder.
Here.
Cindy Murray.
Here.
Ben Murray.
Here.
And Shane Spears.
Here.
All right, thank you, everybody. Now the first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the May 13th, 2021 meeting. Those have been communicated to you. I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Do
Second.
we have a second?
Second.
Any changes or discussion? Hearing none. Mayor Dennis.
Aye.
Kevin Underwood.
Aye.
Tracy Brown.
Aye.
Jackson Bogan.
Aye.
Peter Bunder.
Aye.
Cindy Murray.
Aye.
Ben Murray.
Aye.
Shane Spears.
Aye.
All right, thank you, everyone. The next item on the agenda is Resolution 2021-08, a resolution to amend the 21-22 UPWP. So who will be handling that?
Yeah, that'll be me. So our 2021-2022 UPWP was adopted in April. However, there was a city bus planning project that should have been in there that was not in there. So City Bus is looking to use some of their Section 5307 funds for a feasibility study regarding some of their facilities. Is there anyone on from City Bus who might like to speak a little more into the details of this project?
I know Marty's unavailable today, but I can speak to a little more details of it. What we're looking at doing is a feasibility study of the Landis and Gear building to see if it'll fit the needs space-wise and if the structure is adaptable for transit storage in the light maintenance area.
Very good. Yes, thank you for clarifying that. So yeah, that's what kind of the scope of the project is, and we're looking for approval to put this in the UPWP.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to put this in the UPWP?
So moved.
Second, Cindy.
Cindy? All right. Any further discussions or questions for Ben and City Bus? All right. Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. Mayor Dennis.
Aye.
Kevin Underwood.
Aye.
Tracy Brown.
Aye.
Jackson Bogan.
Aye.
Peter Bunder.
Aye.
Cindy Murray.
Aye.
Ben Murray.
Aye.
Shane Spears.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. The next item on the agenda is the APC progress report. Under that, there's the MPO update and several items under that. So if whatever staff members are handling those, if you would just begin to go through those, please.
Sure. So the first one is Title VI. So what we're looking to do here is to update our Title VI plan. Now, we don't have anything for you to approve today because we're still in the public comment period. We did have a brief presentation about this plan at last night's Citizens Participation Committee meeting, and it has been posted on our website, as well as we put links up on our social media platforms to try to give the public an opportunity to make any comments that they would like to make on the plan. We have not received any comments as of yet, so we're just kind of waiting to see what happens with that. So I guess this is something to look out for in the future. We just wanted to make you aware of it, and certainly if any of you would like to look it over and give us some comments, we'd be more than happy to receive that. One component of this plan is regarding how we can allow individuals with limited English proficiency to participate in the planning process. So that information is included in the Title VI plan. And that's kind of one of the important components that we've updated. So would love to hear any feedback that you guys have on that. So that I think pretty much should be all for that item, unless there are questions from the committee. Okay.
All right. Yeah, let's move on then to South Shores Clean City Partnership.
Yeah, so this is one that Maureen and I are going to kind of split up. So we'll Maureen, go ahead and introduce that.
Sure. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Maureen. I'm the Transportation GIS Analyst here at the Area Plan Commission. So I just thank you guys for your time today. As you all know, this past year's MPO conference theme was climate solutions at the intersection of land use and transportation planning. So since then, staff has made extra efforts to participate in current sustainable initiatives and to learn more about how to integrate sustainability and resiliency into our transportation planning. So two of staff's efforts have been our involvement in the IU Resilience Cohort, as well as participating in the Greater Lafayette Climate Action Plan. The IU Resilience Cohort is currently working on greenhouse gas inventories for the city of Lafayette, as well as Tippecanoe County, just as West Lafayette did in years prior. As many of you already know, the Greater Lafayette Climate Action Plan just entered phase 3, which involves a lot of public outreach after its official kickoff last Saturday. APC staff's participation in both of these has really led us to understand the benefits of prioritizing clean renewable energy alternatives and improved transportation options for our community. So our staff attended the MPO council meeting in April, and an opportunity was presented that we felt was worth exploring. A presentation was made introducing this organization, South Shore Clean Cities. Carl Lysick, their executive director, expressed his interest in working with MPOs around the state of Indiana. So just to introduce them briefly, they're a nonprofit organization managed by Legacy Environmental Services Incorporated, and they are one of the 75 Clean Cities coalitions that the U.S. Department of Energy has appointed. They are, as of February 1st, a statewide coalition, so they're looking at all of Indiana now and not just focusing on North Indiana. So they'll be increasing their staff as well as having a name change in the near future. So we'll be in touch with what their new name will be. So South Shore Clean Cities has been building partnerships with Indiana MPOs to advance affordable domestic transportation fuels, energy efficient mobility systems, and other fuel saving technologies and practices. The coalitions achieve this in a number of ways. It could include the advancement of alternative fuels, alternative fuel vehicles, and sustainable vehicle technologies like electric vehicles, perhaps, or their charging infrastructure. The efforts reduce the nation's dependence on imported oil, which we think is important, improved air quality, equally important, support local jobs, drive economic development, and just overall promote improved quality of life. So in 2020 alone, South Shore Clean Cities assisted its stakeholders with the successful acquisition of more than $9.3 million in grant funds for more than 175 vehicles and pieces of equipment, which included the fueling and charging infrastructure. So this nonprofit's displaced more than 93 million gallons of gasoline since 2009, which we thought was a really great feat. That's the emissions reduction equivalent of about 180,000 passenger vehicles from the road for 1 year. So South Shore Clean Cities had specific success in what they call the Green Fleet program. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn over to Tim to talk more about what that is.
So basically, the idea of the Green Fleet program is for any organization that has a fleet of vehicles that would like to reduce the emissions that those fleets are causing. So that can be certainly government agencies and departments, but it also can be more private agencies like schools with their school buses or other such sorts of fleets of vehicles. So they've really focused on how can we get away from traditional diesel fueling into vehicles that have fueling that are much more environmentally friendly in terms of the emissions they do produce, or rather don't produce, perhaps, I guess would be more accurate. So a lot of the way that they've done that is through some grant acquisition. So Marine kind of gave some numbers about how much funding they were able to accrue for their partners. And that's one of the big ways that we think that they could potentially assist us is through funding applications. Now, one thing we would have to consider is what we would want them to apply for funding for. So if this is something that we think is worth pursuing, I think we would have to kind of get together a group of stakeholders, specifically representing, I think, the elected officials, since there would be some money involved with this. We would have to pay some matching funds towards this effort. So I guess my request today would be to see if there's any interest in this, and if there is, who I should contact about trying to set up a meeting with.
Tim, I'll just say that the city of Lafayette has submitted grant applications through South Shore a couple times trying to get garbage trucks that ran off instead of gas, that ran off compressed gas, and we were not successful with either of them. And we just recently, about a week ago, submitted another grant application through South Shore Clean Cities Partnership to try to get 2 electric trash trucks. There are actually electric trash trucks out there that are pretty good and would actually meet our needs. So we've tried this with them. This will be our 3rd go around, and we currently have an active grant application through them right now. So, I mean, I don't care if the group gets together and does whatever they want to do. I just wanted to put that out there that the city of Lafayette has been using this group for a while now to try to get some trash trucks.
Hey, Tony, did they give any reason or any justification why it didn't go?
Yeah, I mean, first couple they said were doing a lot of school buses first and other types of vehicles like that, and so we never quite rose to the top with doing trash trucks. And then, I mean, I don't know, but I've been told now that all the school buses are about done, and by us being willing to go to electric, that should help us. And as Tim said, there's definitely a match. Those electric vehicles are really expensive. So about 2 of them is about $900,000. The grant would pay about half of it, and we've got to come up with the other $450,000, which is okay, because if we bought 2 regular trash trucks, just regular, we'd pay more than that for the 2 regular trash trucks. Anyway, they're about $365 a piece now just for the traditional ones. So, I mean, the match is not any more than we would pay for trucks, but you do have to, you know, I got to have $150,000 ready if we are fortunate enough to get it. So anybody have any thoughts for Tim on that, what the group would like to do, if the group would like to get together and continue to explore it?
Yeah, I think it'd be worthy of exploration. We have gone through a process of getting more fuel efficient trash trucks. And again, a lot of it has to do, it's cost prohibitive to go. I mean, the term green sometimes is applicable on both sides of the argument. But yeah, I think it'd be worth looking into for sure.
And they do charge. I mean, they charged us $5,000 each time they wrote the grant for us and worked with. So their services are not free either. I mean, there's a cost for them helping and writing the grant.
Wow.
All right, well, it doesn't appear there's too much discussion about this. If anybody has any thoughts about it, please let Tim know, and we'll go from there.
Okay, yeah, just then as a couple final things to wrap this up, I will send an email out to kind of a subset of this committee about starting that up and seeing if we can arrange something. And then, you know, if this is something that I send to you via email and you think that something that someone else besides you would be appropriate to handle, you can certainly designate this. That's fine. That's, you know, at your discretion as to who would be involved in this. But look out for that. And thank you also for the information you provided, Tony. We think that this is something that is worth exploring. It meets some of the goals of our upcoming MTP. So it's really in line, like Maureen said, with some of the work we've been doing within the last year. And not just us, but certainly the local jurisdictions as well. I know that both cities in the county have been working hard to become greener and more environmentally friendly in many ways. So we're glad to hear that you guys are open to at least considering this and, you know, trying to evaluate how beneficial it might be.
Great, thank you.
All right, so that should wrap that up. So I'm going to turn it over to Doug to talk about the Transportation Resource Guide.
Good afternoon, everyone. It gives me exciting to present this to you. As you may be aware, in the past we've reported that we are currently updating the community or Coordinated Human Services Transportation Plan, which looks at transportation issues for those who are elderly, who have low income, or are disabled. Last year we conducted a comprehensive survey of all the transportation providers within the county. And based off of that information, we were able to update the resource guide. It's brand new. So basically the second time we are presenting this to the public. As you can see, it's a fairly comprehensive guide. It includes your out-of-town services, your ambulance medical services, your taxis, private transportation, nonprofit transportation, and public transportation. Basically, it's a trifold that folds up really nice, small, so somebody can carry it around and it displays very nicely. We right now have it available in English and in Spanish. It is on our web, and if there is anyone out there who would like to have paper copies, we'd be more than glad to make them for you, so please let me know. We are in the process of actually having it translated into Korean and also Chinese. We found that those two groups had a substantial population that we felt that this would be applicable to. So something really exciting that we just finished up. Any questions or comments?
Looks like it'd be very helpful for people. Thank you for your work on this.
Thank you.
All right, if there are no questions, we'll go down to who's ever handling the federal funding obligation.
That would be me as well. As you know, we've reported in the past several months that we have allocated all of our federal funds for fiscal year 2021. So we would just thought we'd like to share what all the other MPOs have been doing around the state. And if you look online, you'll see that many of them have obligated all their federal funds, and there are a few that haven't. Specifically, Terre Haute, they have only obligated 11% of their funding. They still have $2 million available. There's a couple others that are still working on getting their balances obligated, but we just thought we would share this with you that a lot of the other MPOs have obligated their funds just like we have. Questions or comments?
All right, thank you, Doug. If there are no questions, we'll go to in-person meetings.
Yeah, so I'm going to handle that one. So as of course you guys know, as you go to many meetings, a lot of the committees are starting to return to an in-person format. So we're just kind of wondering what everyone's thoughts are on that. If you guys would like to kind of retain this virtual format, if you would like to return to in-person meetings, or just what your thoughts are on all of that.
Any comments from anyone? If this is your opportunity, if you have a preference, to let the staff, the area plan know. I know for some of you, you've got to drive in and different things. For me on this meeting, I'm okay either way. If we wanted to keep it virtual, I'm okay, because sometimes there's not a ton of stuff on here and people are trying to come in from different locations. But I'm also okay with it going back to in person also. Me personally, it doesn't matter either way.
I have depending upon what my schedule is like, sometimes it's really difficult to get there and other times it's not. There's no way to do a hybrid, is there? It's either got to be one or the other.
Well, actually, I think there is a way to do a hybrid. Aria, maybe you can speak to that.
Yeah, so as long as we have the technical facilities, we can do a mixed meeting. Here at the county, we do have the facilities to do that. If we were to run the meeting at, Lafayette or West Lafayette, I don't know if that would be possible or not.
Well, that would be kind of cool if we could. If it wouldn't be less convenient than one absolute or the other.
Well,
It's
and
a more complicated to pull off.
Couldn't hear two were talking.
Yeah, it's a little more complicated, but we can handle it, so it should be all
I
right.
seem to remember in a recent discussion at an APC meeting, and David may have to fill in some of the blanks here, but with the change in the state statute, there is a requirement that if you are going, you have to have a majority of the people there to be able to do a virtual meeting. But if you are virtual, then you have to allow anyone for public comment to be there virtually as well. And I think we had some discussion about the length of the meetings and public comment and things of that nature. If you had 100 people that wanted to talk virtually, you'd have to allot for time. And I think Eric Burns and Jackson and David were going to have some discussions about that. And I'm not sure where there's been some back and forth. I'm not sure where we landed on that, but it is certainly an option with that caveat.
Tracy, I can speak to that a little bit. Ordinance took that over and met, and long and short, we are going to where it's visual, but voting will take place in person. And so anyone can participate and view outside, but comments, if you want to address the commission, that needs to be done in person.
But you can vote from outside?
You cannot vote from outside.
Okay. All you can do is view.
Just view. Yes, sir. On this one, I just want to make sure on this, I do not recall, and I don't know how long I've been on this one, almost 2 years now, I think, that we've ever had a public comment. Have we?
They are pretty rare. This sort of meeting, although we do advertise it, does not tend to be very well attended by members of the public. So we have had maybe 1 or 2 virtual comments during the time that we've been streaming these meetings, but it is pretty rare, Jackson.
This is one that I would actually, I like the in-person setting better. This meeting, because I feel like it is more of an information meeting that I would actually be okay with virtual format. I'm on the side of the road in my car right now, and so if I were not virtual,
not saying you're at
what's
home.
that?
Thanks for being honest.
Well, absolutely no. I mean, and so it's I would otherwise I would not have been able to attend, and so it is helpful in that regard. But I'll go with the masses.
Maybe we go every other one month virtual, the next month in person.
All right. Anybody else have any thoughts on this? I don't know if we've reached a conclusion here or not.
I guess I would ask, given that these meetings typically are relatively short, we have people coming from all over and they are more informational. And they always have been and always will be open to the public, although I don't think, strictly speaking, that we have public hearings here. So the nature of the participation is much different, but is there any downside to continuing to have them only virtual?
I don't see many downsides. We can still provide a place for the public to attend in person. Potentially, like here at the county, we can, stream the meeting. We can have microphones for the public if they do wish to attend in person.
Right, and they're recorded and they're available online, live and after the fact. So for the members present, do you see any downside to continuing to have these strictly virtual as opposed to in person?
I don't.
We're allowed to do that. I thought Tracy indicated, and maybe Cindy can weigh in. I thought the law said we would have to, some of the members would have to be there to vote and stuff, or is that just, did I misunderstand it, or is it be okay to have total virtual meetings?
No, you're correct, Mayor. This is Jackson. I'd forgotten that. And Tracy, I believe Mr. Burns explained that is going to expire it was extended until maybe the end of July, but then after that, we're going to have a majority in person. So I think at a minimum, we're talking about having a hybrid. That's a great point.
Jackson, the governor's emergency order extends to the end of June, and
End of June.
The APC is going to go back to its regular format, live format, in July. The thing we need to check with Eric or maybe with Doug, though, I believe the nature of this meeting as more of an administrative meeting rather than, again, one where we have public hearings like rezonings or variances. I think that, we need to check with Doug and Eric, I think, just to make sure. I think that we may have the option of continuing to go virtual. But we'll need to check with one of those attorneys.
Okay, well, why don't you check, David, and see, I mean, towards if we don't have to do the hybrid and all the setup, and I know that's a lot of extra work, but the county can do it. But if we can just go totally virtual, I would probably lean to keeping this meeting virtual because of the nature, if that is legal, probably a little bit in that direction due to the nature of the meeting and people having to travel and stuff. So double check on that to see if we can legally keep this meeting totally virtual.
Will do. I appreciate that feedback. We'll get that information and then we'll spread that via email.
Okay, thank you. All right, Doug, are you going to handle the 18-month letting list?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Looking at the first page, nothing has really changed. Every project that is listed is on track for the letting that was shown previous months. Projects 8 through 19, again, are specifically related to the widening of I-65, and it is still on track for a November 17th letting. Moving on to the second page, the first project on top, project 23, is the Sagamore Parkway Trail project. It's still on a January 2022 letting. Moving down, a small structure replacement project on State Road 26. Number 26 was previously on a July 2021 letting, but has moved to a March 2022 letting. We have a lot of new projects 30 through 36. As you can see, they're on various state roads. And I'd like to point out project 36, Yeager Road. It is on a October of 2022 letting. On the bottom of the page are the bid letting results from May. There were 2 projects. The first one on I-65, which is a pavement patching project. It went or was awarded to Reith Riley for $1.67 million. The estimated completion date is September 15th, 2021. And the second project is a signal modernization project at various locations throughout the district. It was awarded to Michiana Contracting for almost $700,000, and the estimated completion date is September 30th of 2021. Are there any questions or comments that I can help with?
All right, any questions for Doug? All right, thank you, Doug. Looks like the next item on the agenda is the quarterly reports, the quarterly project tracking summary.
Yep, sorry about that. Okay, so for this, I'm just going to hit some of the highlights. I'm not going to go through every project, but first of all, regarding Tippecanoe County, the punch list is out for Klondike Road. So this project is almost officially closed out. The Highway Department will request closure of the purchase orders once the punch list is complete. Lindbergh Road, that project has been let and construction has begun. So pretty good news on that as well. There have been some cost increases on the River Road project, and the Morehouse Road project will get split into 2 projects. The Highway Department is working with INDOT on some of the details of that split. We have to kind of do that in order to make the funding work with the TIP. So that is the reason for the splitting of Morehouse Road there. And then finally, right-of-way services have started for the Yeager Road project. There was an alignment shift that caused some delays in the project scheduling, but it is not anticipated that those delays will impact the consultant's ability to meet the ultimate project milestone dates. Okay, so then moving on to Lafayette, all construction is complete for the Tippecanoe Boulevard project, so that's very good. For the Concord Road trail lighting project, the contractor is working on the punch list for that, so that one is very close to being closed out as well. And then finally for Park East, construction has started on that project. So really glad to see that that's moving forward as well. For West Lafayette, so work has started on stage 3 design for the Sagamore Parkway Trail project. We are still anticipating that the consultant will be able to meet the project milestone dates. However, we are monitoring this project closely to make sure that it stays in fiscal year 22, so that we can match it up with what we have in the TIP in terms of when funding is available for that. So that is a project that we've certainly been watching, and we think everything is going to continue to run smoothly with it, but it has had a few hiccups throughout the life cycle of the project, and we hope we're past those, but you know, sometimes things happen. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up the main points that I wanted to hit. Are there any questions about any of those projects, or maybe some of the ones that I didn't cover in more detail?
Any questions for Tim? All right, hearing none, thank you, Tim. We appreciate your presentation. Next item on the agenda is other business. Does anybody have anything under other business? Shane, you have anything for us you need to say today?
I don't think so, unless you guys have any questions.
All right, thank you.
Mayor, this is Doug. I do have
Doug?
one thing to report.
Yes.
As done in the past, we have presented any modifications that are made to the tip. One was actually made this past Monday, and it is in regards to the Sagamore Parkway Trail project. As you remember, back in May, we passed an amendment to add $187,000 in federal funds to the preliminary engineering phase. When we submitted it, we did not, or unfortunately did not make NDOT's deadline to change what they call SPMS for fiscal year 2021. We had to wait until it opened to make changes for 2022. It did open this past Monday, so we submitted the modification, and it basically, all it did was change the fiscal year from 2021 to 2022. We did change the current tip, and then we also added it to the 2022 tip. It looks like that one, or the new tip, is moving forward. Federal Highway has reviewed our comments, and we do not have any additional comments or questions to answer, and we received the last amount of information needed to finalize the new document from NDOT yesterday, and the complete updated document is available on the web, and we put it up this morning. So just wanted to mention that as part of the process, what we have done in the past.
Okay, so that's not something we need to vote on. You're just making us aware.
That is correct.
Thank you. All right, any questions for Doug on that information? All right, hearing none. Any other business? All right, David or whoever else, do we have any citizen comments that need to be read into the record today?
We could probably wait for 30 seconds here for people to catch up, but at this time, we don't have any public comments.
All right, we'll wait a little bit here.
I will count the time. Okay, it's been 30 seconds and I still see no public comments on Facebook or YouTube.
All right, thank you very much for that. We appreciate your help. All right, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
How about a second?
And a second.
All right, roll call vote. Mayor Dennis.
Aye.
Kevin Underwood.
Aye.
Commissioner Brown.
Aye.
Jackson Logan.
Aye.
Peter Bunder.
Aye.
Cindy Murray.
Aye.
Ben Murray.
Aye.
Shane Spears.
Aye.
All right, well, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.